Good afternoon, Caleb. How you doing? You well?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How you keeping?
I'm blessed, always, in always. All the pleasure for speaking to you, though, because there's another book out, Caleb. The train is rolling on. You didn't just bask
Didn't
in
get
the
off.
glory.
I didn't get off. I said
No,
next
good.
station.
Good, love it, because I know that in between station there were awards for open water. We'll get into that in a second. But you've got a new book coming out called Small Worlds. For those who are watching the screen, listening to this interview, however you're taking it in, do check out the interview we did with Caleb a couple of years ago on open water with my colleague Leah Mahon. It probably provides a great introduction to who this man is on the screen. But there's another book out now. He's moved on. Small Worlds, Caleb, tell me all about it.
Small Worlds is another return to Southeast London, which is my home community. This time the novel is set in Peckham. It follows a young jazz musician, Stephen, who you meet at 18, and you follow him across 3 consecutive summers. And so you sort of see that age and that time in your life where you're going from being young to somewhat of an adult, the shifts, the falling in love for the first time, the beginning to really understand who you are and like what your ambitions are and what the possibilities are for yourself and how you afford yourself those possibilities. It was also a really wonderful opportunity for me to delve into the stories of our community that don't always get told, to speak about what it might mean for people of my parents' generation to take their lives from West Africa, from the Caribbean, and then move them here and to set up new communities here and sort of the difficulties of what that might entail, but also the joys of it too.
You touched on it already, so I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna push my second question down, right?
Go on.
Your parents,
yes.
Coming from where? What part of the world? And share with us, because I know where you are. I know where you're from.
From Ghana, from Accra.
It's popping out there right now. And Ghana's it's happening. Like there's a lot going on, and I've been twice. Yeah, I love it. I love the place. And I want to go. I want to go and do more there. My friend is out there at the moment doing a 500-kilometer bike ride. So if you can go and check out Black Unity Bike Ride and support what they're doing. But Caleb, I really want to dig down into that, because how do your parents' origins? Have you been there, Ghana?
I have actually. So I've been there for 4 or 5 times, but before I went last year, and the time of space between visits before that was 16 years. And so,
now that's interesting to me. Sorry to cut you, but I wanted to know. Go. Yes, I wanted to know how that connection with your roots so young, your parents' world so young, kind of overlapped with obviously your experiences of growing up here, and then how we see them kind of penetrating your work.
I think because I was able to go at such a young age, there was this real understanding of the place. Not necessarily that I could directly call home, because I was really visiting, but a place that my parents called home and a place that had made me the person that I am. There's a painter, a British Ghanaian painter, Lynette Udumbache, who in an interview she spoke about the notion of like Ghana not feeling like home to her, but more so feeling like a way of thinking and feeling and seeing, and that really is the same thing for me, because of those visits, but also because of the ways in which the sort of, I don't know, just the ways in which my Ghanaian ancestry pierced my childhood in the best of ways, in the food, in the language, because like my mum spoke to me in Ga growing up as well, so like it's something that I still understand in like the community gatherings.
So your family from Bukum?
My dad is from Jamestown in Accra, and then my mum is actually Bantu, but she speaks Ga as well. So my mum's from the Cape Coast. Right.
Okay, cool. That's really cool. Any Fanti, any Ga in Small Worlds?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's peppered throughout. Yeah. And that was a really beautiful thing actually for me to be able to have this, because there are it's not necessarily something that I'm constantly like thinking in, but it is a language that is in my mind for someone who's so obsessed with language to be able to bring out another one and like put it on the page there and to have it housed within this text was a really special thing for me.
Your debut novel, Open Water, was widely acclaimed. You won awards, as I've touched on earlier. How does this differ from your first book?
I think where Open Water is it's this really short and sharp, intense story that covers two people and a very specific summer in their lives. Like this one felt like I think there was an intention here that I wanted to expand the scope of what I was writing and the ambition of what I was writing, and not just focus and hone in on two people, but also the wider community around them and the ways in which we kind of like make worlds for each other, the ways in which we make space for each other as Black people to be like our whole and honest selves. And for me, writing about that specific time in Peckham in like between 2010 and 2012 is something that is just like is in my orbit, it's in my memory. It's like a time that I remember being able to go to Afro-Caribbean shops on the weekend and go like see mum when she's getting her hair braided there and actually just like really feeling like there was a sense of that the community there was not just that was home, that was really home and there was a real priority there on this notion and sense of community.
What's the name of the main character in Small Worlds?
Stephen.
So he said he's 18. He's at that transitional point. He's enjoying life, about to make up his mind. What were you like, Khaled, at 18?
At 18, what was I like? A bit of a dreamer. I still am, to be fair. Some
of the dreams that come true, right? Surely.
Yeah, big time. I think at 18, I had also decided that this is what I wanted to do. I really, really felt that the thing that I wanted to dedicate my life to was writing or finding ways to express myself by way of language. And there was a focus there that I don't know, sometimes it's like a compulsion, it's an instinct, there's a need for me to express myself, not just so that I can express myself honestly, but I can ask other people to do the same. I can make a space for people that look like me or look like you to like come and like to be honest and to be open. I think from quite a young age, I was really concerned with that. I was always thinking about the ways in which we are perceived in this world versus the ways in which we actually are. And that has been that's something that I've carried on through to now. Yeah.
I call it a natural affinity, something that's just inherent within you, right? To just do, innate almost. Did you feel the pressure in terms of delivery? Right. Okay. Interesting. So talk about that, because I'd imagine with all the acclaim that came with the first book, just your journey, linking up with your literary agent. I mean, you guys are hitting it out the park straight away, right? It's all happening, and I'm sure deep down in your treasure trove of goodies that made your literary agent's eyes light up and say, we need to get this man's signature. I'm sure there's a lot more to come, right? So talk about just delivering. And I guess raising the bar every time you do that.
That thing you say of raising the bar, I think I was so concerned with where I was and where I wanted to go, but not necessarily from a kind of external point of view. Like I was really thinking, like, what does it mean for me to sit down and try to write another? What does it mean for my craft? Like, what are the intentions here, and how can I satisfy something within myself before it makes its way out into the world? So much of the focus for me, is like, I'm never going to reject any prize. Like, give them all to me, it's fine, no issue. But like, so much of my focus is like, all of that is such a bonus. It's such a wonderful, beautiful bonus. But so much of my focus is on the process. Is the space that I make for myself to be able to write. That's where I feel like this real joy. Like I get excited about the times when I know, okay, we're getting to the desk today. We're going to get something out. We're going to try and work this out, and we're going to try and find a way of expressing this feeling or this emotion. There is a real innate and inherent joy there, and so it was really leaning into that. It was making sure that like I remained focused on the fact that yes, like there are these expectations and the prizes and readers, but like at the core, like I'm a writer, so I needed to write, you know.
I know you delve into other forms of art as well, don't you? Speak on that for a second, because I know it wasn't really touched upon last time we had The Voice interviewed you. So do you still dabble in photography and stuff like that?
Yeah. I'm still really, I think actually last year when I went to Ghana, it was around the time that I was about 2/3 of the way through the novel. And I had this real intention of going to Ghana to research and then to finish the novel while I was out there. I didn't write a word. I was just like so like enamored with the place and feeling all of the textures and but I did take all of my cameras out and you know I was just making different images. I was making portraits of friends and family, but also people, you know, I shoot on this like big old film camera, and people would see it and ask for portraits, just strangers. And that was a really beautiful thing, to have this sense of like exchange, this trust that was taking place. I think also like there's something really special about the visual medium that's quite dear to Black people. I think we've always really valued portraits. Like I think of the family albums that I have, or when you go over to a relative's house and like the walls are decked with images, because it's a way to document and archive like who we were and who we are and who we might be. But also images like just contain so much emotion, like you can really like, and quite like an immediate and visceral sense that you get from images. So I've always really valued the ways that the image can communicate emotions too.
That's good. I mean, do you have any plans for the photography that you take? Is there like an exhibition or a picture-led book coming? Or
I'm putting something together.
I see you, my brother. I see you. Yeah, I know what's going down. In an ideal world, you know, I guess you attain similar success to Open Water. It provides other opportunities. So talk about, if you had that magic wand, you know, how does the next 6 months to a year look for Caleb Azumah Nelson?
What does it look like? I'm most excited. I am really excited to put this book out into the world. Because like I don't know what's going to happen, and that's a really beautiful thing, to be able to lean into this unknown space. Like I really hope that it finds the readers that it needs to. I really hope that, for me, like my focus is always on my community, our community, like making sure that there are narratives in which people can see themselves in, or see a version of themselves, or feel emotions that they might have experienced. And so for me, it's like, it's really that sense of that connection point, that sense of closeness that's achieved when someone like holds something in their hands and they can really feel. That for me is like, if one person feels that, then we're good. But I hope it's a lot. I hope it's a lot.
Well, we hope it's millions. You know, that's what we hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess it'd be remiss of me not to ask you, why Small Worlds? Why was that the title?
Why Small Worlds? Do you know that for both Open Water and Small Worlds, the title was not the first thing that I thought of. Usually I would start writing a narrative, and actually there would be a phrase or like a kind of like section of the novel where I was like, okay, yeah, that's the title. And the same thing happened here, and it felt so suitable because of this notion of space making, of world making, of being able to think of like your mum's house where you go for dinner on a Sunday as like a small world where you can just be like free, you know.
I get it. So my last question then is, do you box? Are you a boxer?
I don't.
You know why I'm asking though, right?
Yeah, you know we're related.
Are you?
Yeah.
For those who ain't caught on this, his name's Caleb Azumah Nelson. And Azumah Nelson is the most famous boxer to come out of Ghana, like famous. And now I hear that his bloodline. That's a special.
Yeah. He's my dad's cousin, I believe.
Wow, that's amazing. He's an amazing man. I've interviewed him in Ghana.
Really?
Yeah, which was a special moment for me. So the greatness runs in the blood, it looks like. Listen, is there anything else we haven't shared with our audience that you wanna kind of?
I think we're good, I'm grateful for the time. Thank you for this. I always love I love The Voice. It's a newspaper that I grew up with. So
No, I appreciate you. We're still here. So listen, for all those watching, go and grab the book, Small Worlds, Caleb Azumah Nelson, out May 11th. And yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time, brother.
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.